All right, welcome back to Etc. This is season 2, episode 1, fall of 2021, starting our senior year. My name is Jonah
And I'm Grant Preeves.
It's nice to be back after several months off. It's our first episode since I think April of this year, but it feels like last year, end of last school year. It's nice to be kind of in person a little bit more. Being able to record together instead of over Zoom is nice for sure.
Yeah, so definitely nice. Start of our senior year, we actually get to have the school year at least start at school. We still are wearing masks, but it's worth it to be back at school. So, Jonah, you want to kind of just launch into what's occurring at school right now and what there is to be excited about?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just like the atmosphere, the environment of school is kind of more back to normal than it was last year for sure. There's a lot more to be excited about. I think for us, more to be excited about just because we have college to be looking forward to. And then we have a lot more festivities going on, even though we're still masked and everything, like you said. It's definitely still a lot better to be I feel like the social aspect of everything and just being involved, it's a lot easier. Something to look forward to on a weekly basis is the Friday night football games.
Yeah,
That's a lot of fun. Off to a great start. The Wolves are 2-0 this year. We beat McHenry and Burlington Central in week 1 and 2. This week we have a game at Huntley. Hoping this comes out before that game and everyone hears this and goes to the game.
Yeah, for sure.
Love to. We got to support the team all season long. So, yeah.
Yeah. Adding on to football, obviously our team's doing extremely well. I mean, it's just the beginning, but I think that's part of what makes it so fun to be back. But also, I kind of want to talk about just being back at my first high school football game in over a year it was.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just it was an extremely cool experience because, with COVID and everything, obviously there were a lot of things that were sacrificed and opportunities, or not necessarily opportunities, but experiences we missed out on. So actually being back in the stands of, our, football field and being around all of those people was extremely exciting. And it made you sad kind of because you realized a lot of what you've missed, but also probably mainly more happy because we get to enjoy it now. So,
yeah, for sure. I mean, just being back in the super fan section, I mean, to go from being sophomores to seniors, it's a little bit weird because
sure.
we missed out on a lot of that, but definitely exciting to be back and the front row cheering on like our peers. It's pretty cool that a lot of kids we've known since middle school are like the starters now. So.
Yeah, I'd say that's the biggest difference because, obviously you go to PR football games, before you're just a senior, but when you're like a senior and junior, it's cool because the actual stars of the team and the people who are playing, people you're friends with and who actually, you go to class with. So that's another interesting aspect that is new to us this senior year. So
yeah, for sure. All right. I guess with that, kind of talking about sports a little bit, we'll shift to our player profile for the week. So mine for the week, sticking with football, is going to be Bryce Young. He's the quarterback for the University of Alabama. This is his first year. For some reason, it feels like every year University of Alabama just has a new star quarterback. Last year was Mac Jones. The year before that, they had Tua, Jalen Hurts. Before that, it's kind of like a never-ending cycle. Definitely why they're one of the big powerhouses in the NCAA football. It's just they always have someone rotating in. So in week 1, Alabama they beat University of Miami 44-13. Miami came in ranked at 14, but they were no match for Alabama whatsoever. Bryce Young finished the game with a 71% completion percentage, 344 passing yards and 4 touchdowns. Great start for him. Easily could be a Heisman candidate by the end of the year. So
wow.
Definitely something to keep an eye on. Looking forward to the NFL season starting up this coming weekend. Tomorrow, actually, Thursday night with the opener.
For sure.
What about who's your player profile for the week?
Yeah, just I'll get to mine in a second, but just adding on to that, definitely, I'm not a huge football guy, but it's still obviously college football is an exciting thing, an entertaining thing to watch, no matter how big of a fan you are. And I think another added aspect of it that makes it different this year is now that we're thinking about going to college, you're kind of also picturing yourself not just watching the games from home, but actually being there in the stadium as a member of the college, which is exciting things to think about.
Definitely, yeah.
So on my player profile, it's a baseball player. It's Frank Schwindel of the Cubs. He's been doing. I mean, the Cubs have been not very good lately. I mean, they basically gave up their season after they traded away all their star players, which many people, including Jonah and I, are extremely sad about. But it is what it is.
Cubs lost a follower.
Yeah. Well, wow.
Probably a lot, but
Fair weather fan. All right. Anyway, here's some impressive stats from Schwindel. So this season, he's at 146 at bats as of this afternoon. What is it? September 9th, 2021. Yeah. So,
Eighth.
sorry, 8th. 146 at bats. He's hitting 333, which means he's getting hit out of 1 out of every 3 of his at bats. 11 home runs and over 1,000 OPS, which for those of you who don't know is the combination of on base percentage and slugging percentage. If you don't know what that is, you guys are on your own. And he has 33 RBIs. More impressive, the Cubs just came off of a 7-game winning streak. Unfortunately, they lost last night to the Reds, I want to say. But in the last 7 games, Schwindel has been even more amazing. He has 4 home runs, 13 hits. He's batting .433, is slugging .833, and has a OPS of 1.302. So very impressive. As I just mentioned, the Cubs came off a season high winning streak of 7 games. One of the games, I don't know which game, Schwindel actually hit a walk-off. He had an infield single, and he had to slide into first base to avoid the tag, which was quite an entertaining thing to see. That's great for Schwindel and all. I'm happy for him, but the Cubs currently suck. That was rather blunt, but it's the case. According to Fangraphs, which is a pretty legit source, in my opinion, the Cubs have a 0% chance of winning their division and a 0% chance of making the playoffs.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, the Cubs basically gave up this season. They traded away all their star players, Bryant, Baez, Rizzo, and Kimbrel. So they're entering a rebuilding phase. So the question isn't really, if they're going to win a World Series this year, because it's not. It's just how long is it going to take for them to become a playoff contending team? Because it's certainly not going to be for a few more years. So, all right, Jonah, moving on from sports, you want to kind of talk about some news that's been going on in the music world?
Yeah. So I'm sure being in high school, most of us are pretty familiar, up to date with a lot of what goes on. But in the past 2 weeks, we've had 2 all-time hip hop greats, all-time greatest rappers of all time, put out some great albums. Kanye West dropping Donda, and then Drake dropping Certified Lover Boy. I have yet to listen to the latter album.
Any of it?
Yeah. Don't plan on it.
Wow.
No chance it's going to beat Donda, so I don't really care. So with that, I think I'll just hop right into my song of the week. For me, I mean, anyone that has talked to me in the past week and a half knows Donda's no skips. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Well,
but
Donda Chant.
Donda Chant is a skip, but that's not a real song.
And that one, the baby song. Which one? What is it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'll figure. Keep talking. I'll find the song.
Well, I hope you're not talking about Jail Part 2.
No. It's called something. Keep talking.
Anyways, are you talking about Pop Smoke?
Did I say the baby?
You did.
Oops.
that is debatably a skip. I'll give it to you. Okay, but my song of the week is going to be Jail Part 2. Kanye West featuring DaBaby, obviously. Jail Part 1 is great as well, with featuring Jay-Z. I just personally really like DaBaby's verse on Jail Part 2. Donda is Kanye's 10th and obviously most recent solo album. He also has 2 more collaboration pieces. Watch the Throne with Jay-Z, and then Kids See Ghosts with him and Kid Cudi. And so Donda, after almost I think over a month of teasing the
At
release.
least a month.
Yeah. Multiple listening parties. Finally, surprisingly dropped on Sunday, August 29th at 8 a.m. Just in the morning. No one really expected it.
Yeah.
But despite the surprise release, the album didn't fail to break records. And its first day, it was streamed 60 million times.
Wow.
And at the beginning of this week, following its first full week in the charts, 23 of the album's 27 songs were on the Billboard top 100. So definitely a successful album. Whether or not you like every song like I do, you can't deny the success that the album has had in the past week and a half.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge Kanye fan. We're kind of on the opposite like sides of this kind of thing. I more of a Drake guy. Jonah more supports Kanye. But I think, one of the cool things, which I won't deny, I mean, the listening parties were good and bad in the respects that, the general public didn't get to hear the album. But the listening part at Soldier Field, whereas like childhood home was kind of rebuilt in the center of the field, was a very interesting sight to see.
For sure.
I'm not a huge Kanye guy, but the fact that he can, make as much money as he does and sell what he calls merch, which is just basically a t-shirt or something with like the most ugly graphic logo on it for like $200 and it'll sell out every single time. That's just a testament to like, how big of a person he is and his impact in the hip hop world. So I will give that to him. That being said, my song of the week has to go to Drake. It's No Friends in the Industry, which is off Certified Lover Boy, as Jonah was just talking about. It's his sixth and most recent record or album, whatever you like to call it. So, although Jonah thinks Donda was a better album, Certified Lover Boy, I think, is inarguably more popular, at least right now. So, according to Rolling Stone, in its first 3 days, Certified Lover Boy surpassed the amount of streams Donda received in its first 8 days. So, in its first 3 days, Drake's album received 430 million streams versus Donda receiving 423 million streams in almost triple the amount of time. So obviously that's a win for Drake right there. Drake also, his new album has a chance to receive the most streams for the first week of any album, and he'd have to break his own record, which he set with the album Scorpion, which has 725 million streams in its first week. So pretty impressive. All right, so I think we're gonna hop from music more into kind of current events and COVID. I know it's a pain to talk about sometimes, but it's unavoidable, and there are some interesting things we have to say about it. So, Jonah, you kind of want to talk about us obviously living in Illinois and what one of Pritzker's latest decisions in terms of COVID safety.
Yeah, I believe it was August 26th.
Yeah, that's sometime that week.
Yeah, around then. Pritzker reinforced, I guess, the mask mandate statewide in commercial businesses, restaurants, bars, schools. Yeah, well, schools kind of was already there.
That's a good point.
But so yeah, I mean, I guess for me, from a personal standpoint, I mean, all summer as I was working, I was wearing a mask.
Yeah.
And so like that part of it wasn't a huge deal to me. Going back into stores, I mean, the biggest pain of it is just forgetting a mask. Some people might not like this, but I'll just be honest. I think it's kind of stupid how seriously people take it. You're not losing any rights. Just wear a mask. The sooner we can all just wear a mask and just follow the protocols, I think we'll get back to where we all want to be.
Yeah.
I think going back into stores, it's really not that big of a deal. The biggest pain of it is like just forgetting a mask. As long as you have a mask, it's not a huge deal. You forget you're wearing it half the time anyways.
Mhm.
And then going like into restaurants really isn't I mean, you wear it in the entrance and then you go sit down and you take it off and you eat with your family or your friends. So I personally, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I understand that it feels like we've been going through this for a year and a half. Well, no, it doesn't. We have been going through this for a year and a half, and it feels tedious and annoying, and like it's just the same thing over and over again. But I think the sooner we can all just follow the protocols, the sooner we'll be out of these protocols. Personally, that's my take on it. I don't know. I think the least we can all do to just get back to where we all want to be is just wear our masks.
Yeah, I agree. I think I can speak for both of us when we say like if there's just one thing our podcast could endorse, it would just be wearing a mask and following all the safety protocols. Yeah, we've been we yeah, and get vaccinated unless you have a legit reason not to. But I can understand where some of the frustration has been. Obviously, the act of wearing a mask itself is not a huge deal. We've been doing it for a long time. But the area where I can kind of understand where people uh, get frustrated or get angry is that, not that we were like specifically promised that, like, hey, if you get the vaccine, things will go back to normal pretty soon and we won't have to wear masks. But the fact that we all got vaccinated and then like it almost seems like things are going in the wrong direction. That kind of like seems like not that we were lied to, but just kind of like it was a false hope of things returning back to normal sooner than they actually were going to. So that's a frustration I can understand. But if we truly want to get out of this, just keep following the safety because the science is there and it's the only way of guaranteeing we can all get back to the life we truly enjoy. So
From a school perspective, we kind of have an altered homecoming plan this year.
yeah,
Definitely. I mean,
it's outdoors.
yeah, I think in the past, if I'm being honest, homecoming, like the dance itself is never like that big of a deal. No offense to the school. I know they do their best, but
They do a good job.
It's not always what you expect it to be. But so I think honestly I'm looking forward to the outdoor luau this year and that coming up next week. Court voting begins tomorrow. Not sure if this will be up by then, but tomorrow and Friday is court voting. And then I can actually pull up the schedule today. Tomorrow and Friday is court voting. Then next week, Monday, Tuesday is going to be royalty voting, I believe.
So just to clarify, in case there are some people who don't know, the way it's gonna work is there's like the luau before the football game, and then there's like everyone will go to the football game, and does it continue after the game as well, or how does that work?
That was my original understanding, but I'm not positive. So yeah, Friday the 17th, which is our homecoming day, we have the luau starting at 4:30 to 6:30. Then everyone can head on down to the game and enjoy the homecoming game where we will stomp Jacobs
For sure.
and then I'm not exactly sure what the plan is following that, but yeah, definitely. I think we have the dress up days for everyone. There's twin day, pajama
Oh,
day,
that'll be easy
decades, and yeah, that's true. And then Friday is Hawaiian for everyone.
for me. Yeah.
So definitely something to look forward to. I'll just read through the senior themes real quick. Senior citizen, country club, superhero versus villains, PR Palooza, and then Hawaiian.
Is country club basically preppy rich?
Yes, but we're going with country club this year
Okay.
for some unknown reason. I'm kidding. I know why. I just don't agree with it, but that's okay.
Yeah,
Moving
some people
on.
might find the term offensive, but
Mhm.
so I'm gonna give credit to the school. Obviously, the dance or the homecoming is gonna be different than it has been in past years for obvious reasons. But I think it's a pretty creative way to try to make the best of the situation. So,
Definitely.
kudos to the administration of PR. I think they made the best of it. So,
Yeah, definitely doing their best to give us the full experience.
yeah. With that being said, we're going to what's the word? Pivot, yes, into our quick take, which we might have to come up with a new name for because we realized after doing this for a couple of episodes, our responses are not quick whatsoever. But we also like to give, relatively detailed answers. So we might have to think up of a new name. But nonetheless, the question is, how different would life be going into our senior years if COVID-19 had never happened? Jonah, you want to start?
Yeah. So I mean, starting way back in spring of 2020 when this all started, I thought school was going pretty well for me that semester. I was enjoying school, enjoying the social aspect of school and everything. That was all going well. And then I think the biggest thing for me last year was just lack of motivation. I've noticed this year already that, and it might be because I did so poorly last year, honestly, that I feel like I just have to catch up.
Yeah.
But I just feel like I enjoy going to school. like football games is giving me something to look forward to at the end of the week. So it's giving me like a reason to push through the week and and like be like have a reason to just get my stuff done so I can enjoy the weekends and get just more back to normal. So I think although we're not completely back to normal, this year has get already these first 4 weeks have given me that sense of like what I missed for the past year and a half for sure. I think I'd be in a much better place academically.
That's what I was about to ask.
I wouldn't be so stressed for college. I think as I am.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's on me. But I definitely think COVID definitely it played an impact. I can't deny that it had an effect on how I viewed school, how, like my work ethic and all that stuff. And I think a lot of people can
you're definitely not
relate
alone
to
there.
that for sure.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
This is a pretty good question. Obviously, I think there's good and bad, but it's probably negatively impacted my life overall. I think most people can agree with that. Obviously, because I've missed out on not a majority, but a lot of my high school career has not been normal. It was obviously kind of impacted, via Zoom and, wearing masks and social distancing and all of that. But one cool thing COVID did allow me to do was, obviously baseball is a pretty time consuming thing. And I do enjoy baseball. I'm happy I play it. But because of COVID, the schedule kind of had to change for it. Part of it was also the school schedule. Like Wednesdays, we basically had off. They were remote days, but you could work around your own schedule. So what that allowed us to do, or my friend and I, we created the club. Some of you might know it. It's like the business and investment club, and that gave us like a time where I could like meet and have clubs, because normally with baseball in full stride during a normal school year, I wouldn't have been able to like meet, after school. So that gave me a chance to like, create my club and keep it started going. So I think that was the main positive, but negatives, I definitely gained some weight. I need to think of something else to say so it doesn't sound that weird, but yeah, I did gain some weight, and
I
that's
think
about
I think
No.
everyone probably struggled
Yeah, I
with that
mean,
a little bit.
I think that was a huge thing. Obviously, I think, it's gotten back to normal a little more because, I'm, back in the swing of things with baseball and things like that. But I think my body was just, we all got so used to not going out and doing things. So it feels good to actually kind of, not that we have a job, but feel like we have a normalized schedule where we go to school, get our things done, complete our homework, do the extracurriculars, and go to sleep and do it all over again. It might sound exhausting, but it's definitely a comforting routine to have, in my opinion. So
for sure. And on that note, not to call anyone out, but underclassmen, freshmen specifically, just get involved. I think that's the biggest thing I gotta say. I just remember a couple of weeks ago at the freshman kickoff, it just felt like so many kids just didn't know what they were interested in, and I think that's completely fine. But I just feel like with COVID and lockdown and quarantine and everything, people just got so used to just sitting at home and not having a whole lot to do. And I think, and while that's completely understandable in that time, there
for those of you who aren't watching the video, we just learned that one of the cons of recording outside, there are quite a bit of, I don't know if they're wasps or hornets, but that's something we gotta we gotta look out for.
Yeah,
so
for sure. But anyways, yes, I think just I don't think there's anything wrong with where a lot of the underclassmen are at. It's completely
it's
understandable.
not their fault necessarily.
But I think the best thing you can do is just look for ways to get involved. There's so many opportunities at PR. I think we're so lucky to go to such a great school, and that has so many opportunities. Reach out to your teachers, reach out to your friends, just look for stuff to do. I mean, Grant started a club. If there's something you're interested in that you don't already see a space for, I mean, go out of your way to make it happen, because I guarantee there's other kids that have a similar interest.
All you need to start a club is just yourself, obviously, and the faculty member to act as the club sponsor. So all you really need to do is just ask a teacher. I'm sure you could find someone who would be more than happy to make your club come to life. So
yeah, definitely. So yeah, I think That's the biggest thing. Just look for ways to get involved, and it'll make this year and the rest of your high school experience go a lot smoother and a lot more enjoyable too.
Yeah, with that being said, I think we're gonna close it out by just kind of emphasizing or kind of going on what Jonah said. Get involved with school. Obviously, I think PR has a great, student body environment, but that just doesn't happen on its own. People have to get involved and show effort. So that's what makes it a fun experience. So if you want that to continue to happen and be a part of it, go join a sport or a club, interact with your teachers, form relationships, and ultimately that'll make your high school experience a lot better. So with that being said, this is the first episode of Etc. in 2021. Wait, that's not even true. Sorry. This is the first episode for us as seniors. And we're signing out. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.